Hello, my name is Lucas. This is a bit of lit. This is my wardrobe door. It fell off the other day. But I would like to talk about Inkspell, which is the sequel to Inkheart, which I read last month, at the end of the month. 6 days ago, I believe, with an hour left in the day to seal the win, the victory in my reading race. The guy is hot on my tail. When I finished the stand, I had about 450,000 words, and today he reached 40,000 words, but I finished Inkspell, so now I'm at 640,000 or something. Anyway, quite happy about that. I'm still in the lead, just barely, it's pretty close. It's not really a competition among colleagues. It's a competition between myself and him, and it's looking to be another tough one, because he can read quite fast. I can see that, but I read faster. And I'm gonna win, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anyway, Inkspell is the sequel set a year later. Wrote a few notes here to make sure I keep this on track, because I knew I would talk about the reading race. Where Meggie, the protagonist, lives with Elinor now, along with her father, Mo, and Resa. I hope I'm saying that name right. Who is her mother, and she feels sort of envy because now Mo is giving her Resa attention that Meggie used to get by herself, and it is kind of interesting to see how that plays out through this whole story. Anyway, in the beginning, Dustfinger's urgency to come back to the world of Inkheart grows and grows and grows, and it's quite urgent for him. And he finds Orpheus, who is this seedy storyteller who can read and write stories to life in the same way that Mo can, Silvertongue. And after he does that, he doesn't bring Farid into the story as sort of was negotiated. He also doesn't bring Gwin in, because Gwin is the way that Dustfinger will die in Inkheart, indirectly, which is his creature that he keeps around. So Orpheus Orpheus gives the book to Basta, who wants revenge for Capricorn, who was this evil, I think on my finger, evil guy, full of malice and amazingly horrifying things, capable of horrifying things. And so Farid, I don't know, seeks out Meggie to help him, and they find themselves in Inkheart. And a lot of characters find themselves in and out of Inkheart throughout this story. My feeling from the first book was that it was really very much about the power of stories and storytelling, with Silvertongue, Mo, and Meggie being able to read people and things and creatures, animals, whatever, into stories and out of stories, and what do stories mean for us? How do we learn from them and engage with them and that kind of thing? This one, which has a lot more to do with Fenoglio, who is the writer of Inkheart in this series. I hope I'm saying that name right. It seems to be more about authorship and how we write and why we write and what it means to write and these kind of things. That's sort of my impression, that this one is more focused on the writing aspect of stories and the telling aspect of stories. Not to say it wasn't there in the first book, but in this book, there's there's characters that die deaths that they weren't meant to, and there's sacrifices that need to be made, and there's kingdoms to be usurped and taken, and just all kinds of high drama. And there's a lot of death and darkness in this book, and I quite like it. I'm a little bit tired of reading fiction at the moment, so I read it a little bit slower than I would have liked. But yeah, I've read a lot of fiction for these reading races, and I just want to read nonfiction. But while we have some nonfiction stuff, it's like really short things to introduce topics briefly for kids, and I kind of already know that stuff, and it's a bit frustrating. That said, really good, great sequel. I'm looking forward to Ink Death, I believe is what it's called. So that should be good fun. I'm hoping it's gonna be a banger. I don't want it to be darker than this one. I imagine it will end positively. I hope it's a little bittersweet though. Of course, this one, yeah, definitely. In many ways, not the happiest circumstances, dealing with Dustfinger, Farid, and Cosimo, and is he Cosimo? Yeah, Cosimo. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Fenoglio and all these characters. They find themselves in the thick of things, in the heat of things, and it's just good fun. There's, like I said, a lot more drama and action than Inkheart, which had plenty with Capricorn and everything that happens in there. But there's just so much darkness to this one. I'm hoping the next one will have a similar vibe, and then by the end, be happier. Anyway, that was my review for Inkspell. I'm looking forward to Ink Death, which I will probably read next week. I keep putting off War and Peace because I know it's just going to take me forever because it is a mammoth. So yeah, there's that. Next, I will probably actually be reading Dominion, which is a short story collection of speculative fiction for African diaspora and African speculative fiction. So I'm looking forward to doing that review for that collection, which will come out August 17th. Check it out. My friend did a review. I will leave a link to that. He had some really good talking points, and also, Mr. Nothing deserves more subscribers, so, just get on the bandwagon for the ghost who might be, the host who might be a ghost, but also the ghost who might be a host. I'm on to you, villain.